One quiet afternoon in 1912, a book dealer named Wilfried Voynich was looking through an old Jesuit library in Italy. He didn't expect to find anything unusual, but then he came across a plain book hidden among the dusty shelves. At first, it seemed ordinary, but when he opened it, he was shocked. The pages were covered in strange writing, symbols, and letters unlike any language he had ever seen. The pictures were even more mysterious. Plants that didn't exist, star charts that made no sense, and women shown in pools linked by unusual pipes. This discovery became one of the greatest mysteries in history. This is the story of the Voynich Manuscript. Welcome to Red Siren, a podcast where we explore some of the world's most fascinating mysteries. Today, we'll talk about a strange book that has puzzled experts for over 100 years. Its secrets are still unknown, and its purpose remains a mystery. Our story begins in the late 1980s with a young scholar named Lisa Fagin Davis. Lisa had just graduated with a deep interest in medieval history and manuscripts. When she got a part-time job at the university's library, she was excited to work so closely with ancient books.
Yeah. My history with the manuscript really started by when I was a graduate student at Yale getting my doctorate, and I had a job at the Voynich. I was Robert Babcock's assistant for 5 years. Oh, yeah. And he put me in charge of Voynich correspondence. So back in the late 80s and early 90s, I was the person who was responding to requests for images or corresponding with theorists. And so I have this long history of theories about, of thinking about theories and analyzing and critiquing theories. And it was only really recently when it occurred to me that my own expertise in paleography and codicology could actually bring something valuable to the discussion.
The library had many rare and interesting books, some still hiding their secrets. Lisa's daily tasks were to organize old manuscripts, assist researchers, and respond to letters from people asking about the library's collections. Most letters were about well-known books, but a few were about strange and mysterious ones. It was in this calm and curious setting that Lisa found a manuscript that would change her life forever. One day, a letter arrived at the library, and it stood out from the usual ones Lisa handled. It was about a strange book, described as a puzzle that no one could solve. The letter claimed this book was filled with mysterious writing and strange pictures. Lisa couldn't resist finding out more. She talked to her supervisor and asked to see the book for herself. When they brought it out and opened it, Lisa couldn't believe her eyes. The writing was unlike anything she had ever seen, and the pictures were even stranger. It was a book full of secrets, and it fascinated her immediately. That was when she first saw the Voynich manuscripts, and it captured her curiosity in a way nothing else had.
But it really is a completely unique object. There's nothing like it. I've studied hundreds, thousands of medieval manuscripts over the course of my career, and there's nothing like it in the world that I've seen.
The Voynich Manuscript is a mysterious book with 240 pages, made from vellum, which is a type of parchment crafted from animal skin, giving it a smooth and durable feel. It dates back to the early 1400s, as revealed by radiocarbon testing. The pages are covered in a script known as Voynich, a strange writing system that looks like a real language with repeating patterns and structured grammar. Yet, no one has been able to decode it. The illustrations in the manuscripts are just as puzzling. They show plants that no one has ever seen before, and detailed drawings of zodiac signs, and also unusual scenes of nude women in pools, connected by strange tubes. The book feels less like a regular manuscript and more like a puzzle, as if every drawing and word is hiding a secret. Its detailed layout, colorful artwork, and unusual design make it one of the greatest mysteries in history. Before we dive deeper into Lisa's work, let's look at the fascinating history of the manuscript. Its modern story begins in 1912, when Wilfried Voynich, a Polish book dealer, came across the manuscript in a Jesuit library in Italy. Voynich purchased the book, but its origins were far older and much more mysterious. One of the earliest known owners of the manuscript was Emperor Rudolf II of the Holy Roman Empire, who ruled in the late 1500s. Rudolf was deeply interested in alchemy, hidden knowledge, and other mysterious topics. He reportedly paid 600 gold ducats, a huge amount at the time, because he believed the manuscript had been written by Roger Bacon, a famous English philosopher and scientist from the 1200s. After Rudolph's death, the book vanished for a long time before eventually reappearing in the care of Jesuit scholars. One of these Jesuit scholars was Johannes Marcus Marci, a scientist who inherited the manuscript. Marci believed the text might hold valuable knowledge, so he sent it to Athanasius Kircher, a well-known cryptographer in Rome, hoping Kircher could crack its code. However, there are no surviving records of Kircher's efforts, and the manuscript's mysteries remained unsolved. Let's go back to Lisa. When she first came across the manuscript, many experts had already dismissed it as a fake. But Lisa had studied paleography, the skill of understanding old handwriting, and this helped her see something others had overlooked.
So the work that I have done on the manuscript specifically is identifying how many different handwritings are in it.
Yeah.
How many different scribes actually held a pen and wrote on it. And I've identified 5 different handwritings in the manuscript. And that speaks also to a sort of collaborative and community of practice. 5 different people who knew how to write this script. 5 people who were recording this information, which also supports the idea that it represents something. You've got 5 people using this language in the same way, using basically the same roles. There are a few differences, which is also interesting. That it's a community of practice recording this information for their own purposes, I find really exciting.
If more than one person worked on the manuscript, who were they? Were they monks, alchemists, or scholars? And why would they create such a strange and complicated book? Lisa's findings brought new attention to the manuscripts, sparking collaborations between code breakers, language experts, and historians. The Voynich Manuscript is divided into 6 main sections, each more mysterious than the one before. Let's take a closer look at them. The first section is the botanical section. This section is filled with drawings of plants, but none of them match any real plants we know today. Some of the plants look like combinations of different species, while others appear completely imaginary. Each plant is drawn with incredible detail and paired with text. Could these plants represent lost species, secret symbols, or even ingredients for ancient recipes? Scholars still debate whether they were based on real plants, heavily exaggerated, or entirely invented by the manuscript's creators. The second section is the astronomical section. This section contains drawings of zodiac signs like Sagittarius and Pisces. Around these symbols, small human figures are shown holding stars. These illustrations seem to point to a connection with astrology. But what do they mean? Are they showing how the stars moved long ago? Could they represent spiritual ideas or beliefs? Or maybe they are maps to another world entirely. The third section is the biological section. This section might be the strangest part of the entire manuscript. It shows drawings of nude women bathing in green pools, which are connected by pipes or channels. Some of the women appear to be pregnant, while others are interacting with odd objects. The meaning of these illustrations has puzzled researchers for years. The fourth section is cosmological section. This section shows drawings of circles, stars, and shapes that look very detailed. Some experts think these might be maps of the universe, or diagrams of spiritual ideas. The careful design of the drawings suggests that whoever made them had a good understanding of astronomy and math. The fifth section is the pharmaceutical section. This section shows drawings of plants alongside jars and containers. It looks like it might be a guide to making medicines or remedies. But are these instructions for real treatments, or do they have deeper, symbolic meanings connected to magic or alchemy? And the last section is the textual section. This section is made up of pages filled with continuous text, sometimes interrupted by star-shaped symbols. It is the most mysterious part of the manuscript. What could this text be? Is it a set of instructions, a philosophical work, or something completely different?
The most common word in that language will generally appear twice as often as the next one, which is twice as often as the next one, and so on. So you end up with this kind of inverted curve. And Voynich follows that rule. When you look at the words, and we don't know that they're words, but I'm using scare quotes to use that as a convenient term. You look at the word frequencies in Voynich's, it follows Zipf's law perfectly, which is really a really cool outcome, because that does suggest that it represents a natural human language. Okay. On the other hand, there are other calculations that suggest something else is going on. So, for example, Voynich's is very predictable in terms of the sequence of letters, and it's more predictable than a natural language should be.
For many years, experts have tried to solve the mystery of the Voynich Manuscript. Early code breakers thought the text used a common cipher and tried to study how often symbols appeared, but it didn't work. The script doesn't follow the rules of any known language. Modern researchers have used artificial intelligence to study the writing. Some believe it's a made-up language, while others think it's an encoded message, but no one has found the key to unlock it. Botanists have studied the plant drawings, but many look imaginary or exaggerated, making identification hard. Astronomers have looked at the star charts, but they don't match any known constellations. Historians are also puzzled by the drawings of women and pools, wondering if they represent health ideas or life symbols. Despite all these efforts, the manuscript remains a mystery. Its unanswered questions continue to spark curiosity and fascination. Let's go back to Lisa. Once the manuscript caught her attention, she decided to investigate further. Lisa's research focused on identifying key details in the manuscript that helped experts better understand its creation. She studied the materials, like the vellum and ink, which were tested to confirm that the manuscript was from the early 1400s. These studies also showed the advanced workmanship involved, proving it was not a modern forgery. To close today's episode, let's explore the most fascinating part: theories about the Voynich Manuscript. For hundreds of years, people have tried to explain its secrets. These theories fall into three main ideas. The first one is the hoax hypothesis. Some people think the manuscript is a fake. The patterns in the text might not mean anything and could have been created to trick people like Emperor Rudolph II into buying it. In 2003, a computer scientist named Gordon Rugg showed that a simple tool from the 1500s could create text similar to the scripts, making this theory seem possible. But others argue that the effort and skill needed to make such a detailed book make this theory less likely. The drawings and carefully written text suggest it might have a deeper purpose. The second theory is the cipher theory. Some people think the manuscript hides secret information written in a very complex code. Even with modern technology like AI, no one has been able to crack it. This has led some to believe the code might be impossible to solve, or that only the original creators could understand it. The text looks like a real language, with patterns similar to natural ones, but it doesn't match any known language, making this theory hard to confirm. And the third theory is the supernatural theory. This idea takes us into the world of the mysterious. Some believe the manuscript is no ordinary, but a magical one, and it contains spells, rituals, or secret knowledge meant only for few. Others push the theory even further, suggesting that it wasn't made on Earth at all. They think it could be an artifact from aliens, holding information from an advanced civilization beyond our planet. The unusual plants in the botanical section, which don't exist anywhere on Earth, and the strange star diagrams in the astronomical section give weight to these ideas. Could these be drawings of plants and star systems from another world? This theory also connects to myths of ancient, advanced civilizations, like Atlantis, or tales of alien contact throughout history. Supporters argue that the manuscript could be a knowledge that has been lost or forgotten. Whether magical or alien, the supernatural theory, this leaves us wondering whether the Voynich Manuscript is a gateway to secrets far beyond our imagination. Today, Lisa Fagin Davis lives in Massachusetts, where she continues her work as a medievalist. She collaborates with experts, hoping to unlock the manuscript's secrets. For Lisa, the Voynich Manuscript is more than a puzzle. It's a window into the minds of its creators. The Voynich Manuscript remains unsolved, its secrets locked away for centuries. Perhaps it's meant to keep us curious, to remind us that some mysteries are worth the chase. What do you think it is? A guide to lost knowledge, a supernatural book, or something else entirely? Thank you for joining me on this first episode of Red Siren. Next time, we'll explore another real-life mystery. Until then, stay curious.